The weight of the world is on your shoulders. Are you prepared to save Earth from the impending doom of the invading aliens? Hello, and welcome to Bad at Board Games, where we're bad at board games, so you don't have to be. I'm Toph Ferguson, and today I'm doing a little bit of a review of one of my favorite solo games, Under Falling Skies. Under Falling Skies is a game designed by Thomas Uller. It is published by Czech Games Editions. It is a lot of game, a lot of story, in a very little box. The premise of this game, the idea of this game, is kind of taking that theme of Independence Day or that theme of space invaders, putting it into a board game. The aliens are coming towards Earth. They are coming to attack and take over and destroy the Earth. We are in a bunker in a city, and we have been tasked to save Earth. We have our job. Our job is to be able to find as much research as we can to determine what it is that is coming to attack us. And at the same time, we have to defend ourselves. So we've got to be able to power up the weapons that we need to be able to attack, counterattack the alien ships as they come towards space. Come towards us. We also need to excavate as much as we can down underground so that we have more space and ability to open up more rooms, to be able to do more research, to be able to get more energy, to be able to have access to more weapons that can help defend ourselves. The game is beautiful. It is a variable setup game. It comes with multiple tiles, typical cardboard punch-outs, but they are able to be mixed together with various other tiles. So you've got the sky, and your sky tiles, you've got some different ones that are in the box. They're going to be in different levels. You can play a basic level, you can flip them, playing harder levels. The look of it actually does kind of look like it is space. It looks like these aliens are coming down to attack you. The mothership itself, you can kind of feel the doom as that mothership kind of gets closer to you. Underground is going to give you kind of a typical Euro game feel. We're not going for the best visuals, but we are going for a little bit of color and a little bit of excitement as we go through the game. So you'll see a little bit of variation in it. It looks okay. Not the most striking game on the table, but at the same time, does it need to be? This is a quick game where the aliens are attacking and we are fighting back. And that's the whole crux of the game. Now, as you play into the story, into the campaign, you start getting other things that are going to add into the game. You know, the base game, like I have it set up here, is going to have these nice little alien ships. You've got some plastic pieces. They are purple or red. You also have some clear alien ships as well. They're not just cubes. You actually get the feel of these ships coming towards Earth, attacking us. We, on the other hand, at the bottom, are simply dice. This is a worker placement or a dice placement game. It does have variable setup. It is a solo-only game. You can play with multiple people, but in the heart of it, it's still a solo game. You'll all be playing together, trying to come up with where it is you want to place your dice in order to be able to take actions. It also has a re-rolling aspect to it, which I think is kind of good. With some of the dice, you've got 3 gray dice and 2 white dice. When you place one of your white dice, you re-roll everything that's left. So if you're not happy with what you had been given on your first roll, you can go ahead and kind of chance it and see what you're going to get with a re-roll. And that is helpful. It also can hurt you sometimes. So you have to be strategic with how you're going to place your dice onto the various locations on the board. The value of the dice matters. So it's not just worker placement where you're placing your die onto a specific location, but you're actually saying, I've got a value 6 or a value 4 or a value 1 die, and I need to be able to use that somewhere in this board. So the look of the game is going to kind of get you into the theme. The dice, I can't say necessarily brings the theme alive for me, but it is a great way to take what could just be a simple little game and add a strategic or kind of difficult level challenge into it. I guess you wouldn't necessarily call this a strategy game because long term, you're not going to be starting with one strategy and kind of working towards the end of the game, but you are going to have this feel of, okay, what's going to be the best action I can take in this moment? And you have to weigh out one action versus the next. And do you plan those gray dice that you can use and keep using the rest of the dice that you have rolled? Or do you choose to go ahead and kind of gamble everything else, place one of your white dice, and take the risk on that reroll to see what you're going to get with the rest of your dice? There's a little bit of luck in it because it is a dice-driven game, but at the same time, you are actually rolling the dice, and then you are strategically using the dice that you get in the game. Now, the board itself, if you can see it, you'll see that there are different rooms. You're going to have your research rooms. You're going to have your artillery rooms. You're going to have robot rooms, depending on the game board that you set up. And those rooms are going to do different things for you as well. So you need to figure out how you're going to use not only the dice numbers, but also use those dice numbers in the ways that you need them to work for you. And there are modifiers on the board. Sometimes it'll increase the value of your dice. Sometimes it will decrease the value of your dice. Sometimes that room will cost energy, and you have to manage the amount of energy that you have to be able to continue taking actions. All in all, mechanic-wise, it's pretty solid. Once you have a little playthrough down, you're going to understand how the rest of the game works. You place a dice, that value of the dice is going to move the ships closer to you, so you are always fighting against the aliens that are coming down to attack. And the aliens themselves can do bad things. Depending on where they land on the board, it might cause them to move. It might cause them to pull the mothership a little bit closer towards Earth, or they might land on a space where you can hit them back. You get to choose where those alien ships are going to go to, and that's kind of the fun of the game. Puzzling out not only where you're going to place your dice for your benefit, but also where you're going to place your dice to be able to set up the aliens in a way that you'll be able to attack back efficiently. The game itself was kind of a game that I bought on a whim. I had seen a handful of people play it online. I thought, it could be fun. People have been talking about this game. It's not very old, so it was kind of hot when I went ahead and bought it. And I was honestly surprised. I thought this would be a game that I would sit down and maybe play once or twice and be done with it. It is not. This is a game that I immediately, when I got the game, I opened it up, I sat down, I learned the first kind of how to play beginner game, kind of the easy game. And I thought, you know what, that actually was kind of fun. Let me play it again. So I played the same game over. I just reset, put the alien ship back at the very top, and started over. Didn't change any of the tiles. And I thought, there's a lot of strategy to this. I think I lost my first couple games. It's not necessarily the easiest game to be able to win at. And then all of a sudden I started realizing, I really have to be strategic with this. I really have to be efficient with where I'm placing my dice. And that's where I think the hook kind of got for me. It went from a game that I kind of took a risk on thinking, I think I bought it for like $25. I'm just going to sit down and play this alone. The pandemic's going on. I'm home alone. Might as well play something that's going to be fun. Never did I think that I would start getting into the campaign, the story, playing harder and harder levels, trying to challenge myself to see if I can play in less moves than I did the time before or at a harder level than I did before, and trying to play through that storyline in a way that sets me up for the best story that's coming next. So I really have enjoyed playing this. This is one that I have sat down in the evenings and pulled out, played a game, died within 10, 15 minutes, or won. Either way, going to continue playing a game over and over and over and over again before I ever pack it back up and call it a night. So fun little game for me. A lot of great things going on. I think one of the biggest things that I like about the game is it plays fast and it allows me to think and focus. I don't have a whole lot of negatives about the game. I think after a while it's going to get old because while there is a story to it and that story does add a lot of tiles, in the long run it's still the same tiles. You're doing the same actions. You're not really adding a lot of rooms to the bottom of the board for you to be able to take very new or very different actions. Longevity, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to last as a game that I really enjoy. But for the positives, I really get to think, and that's something I do enjoy. I enjoy sitting down. I enjoy solo games in general, but this one allows me to just kind of zone out, play a challenge, be done with it. And then I can decide, what? I might play another game or I might not. I might sit down for 30 minutes. I might sit down for 3 hours. Either way, I still end up enjoying it. So that's some positives for it. The game itself is not overly complex. It's a very solid medium weight game. I think BGG is rating it currently somewhere around a 2.44. I would put it somewhere around a 2.5, especially as you get into some of the later games, because the complexity level is going to increase. When I'm playing it by myself, I tend to not want to play at the normal level. I want to play at a much higher difficulty level, and that means that I lose this game a lot. So I do enjoy that challenge of it. I do enjoy that puzzle of the game. So I would say it is about a 2.5 at most, especially as you get into the later campaign games. The beginner level game, I would rate it probably somewhere around a 2.2. But after you get past that beginner level, you start playing at normal difficulty or maybe a little bit higher, it's gonna bump up to about a 2.5. So medium weight game. It's a relatively inexpensive game. I think that's one of the positives as well. It's going for somewhere around $30 US currently at online and gaming stores, at least in our local area. You could pick it up. Some Targets will sell it. You can pick it up on Amazon. I'm sure you'll be able to find it at your friendly local gaming store, somewhere around that $30 range. There's a lot of story and a lot of game in this little box for only $30. We do a ranking here kind of on what we feel the value of the game is, somewhere from 1 to 5, 1 being it's not a good value for the cost of the game. You know, the gameplay is not worth what the cost of the game was. To 5, it's an excellent fit. And for this, I easily rated a 5 because for, like I said, $30, I can't tell you how many gameplays I have of this game. I don't put them all in BG stats, so I'm not able to kind of go back and look at every single game that I've played. I've lost a lot, more than I've ever won the game, and I still want to pull it out and play it over and over again. I recommend it to a lot of people. For a game that only cost about $30, I've got more gameplay out of this than most other games that I own. When it comes to my ranking of the game, kind of how I feel about it, you can tell I enjoy it a lot. I'm not going to rank this at a 9 or a 10, which is kind of the highest values that I give games, but I am going to easily give it an 8. 8 out of 10. This is something that I continually want to pull out and play. It's not going to be something that I'm going to pull out and play with a lot of other people. While the box does say you can play more than one, you're never going to be playing more than a solo game. So even when you play with multiple people, it's still just a solo game. I can see this staying at an 8 for quite a while. I have not tired of it. Maybe if I played enough that I tire of it, I might want to lower it, but actually probably not, because I've played it so much and have enjoyed it so much. Even if I feel like I get to a point where it's the same game over and over again, it's probably going to stay at a level 8 for me. So 8 out of 10 is my rating of Under Falling Skies. What do you think about it? Is this a game that you enjoy? Is it something that you have tried and said no to, or is it something that you have tried and said, yeah, let's keep playing it. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the puzzle of it. Is this a reminder of the times when we used to sit down and play Space Invaders so many years ago? Does it give you that feel of Independence Day? I'd be curious to know what you think about it. There's a bit of a thrill in this game. There's a bit of a story in this game. Tell me what your story is. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, tell me what your story with Under Falling Skies is. Thanks for sticking around today. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy.